Hello, everybody. We are here with writer-director Nick Gillespie, and he is going to be premiering a film called Paul Dude's Deadly Lunch Break at South by Southwest on Wednesday, March 17th at 2 p.m. PST. So that would make it, what, 4 CT or something like that?
Thereabouts, yes. It's on Wednesday, basically.
Quick, do the math. So pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. You wrote the film with Brooke Driver and Matthew White. How did the story come about? What inspired this movie?
So yeah, I mean Matt White, who I'd been working with in the past, he wrote the original script. It was his sort of screenplay, and he sent it to me in 2010. And Matt he'd had an idea about doing a more of a conventional kind of revenge story that would be probably more horror led than kind of dark comedy where it's ended. And it was about a kid who was bullied horribly at school, who then grows up in the town and then reenacts. He goes and seeks his revenge and goes on a killing spree, which we've seen done in lots of different things. And round about that time, talent shows in the United Kingdom were reaching more kind of mainstream primetime television. They've always been there, they've always been around, but there was a lot of that going on. And I thought there's something amusing about that, not about really going and doing it. But there was something funny there, I think, and we kind of kept that. And then years later, we sent the script to Finn, the producer, and Brooke was involved in the writing room as well. He did pass on it, and that's where it came from and where it got to before we went into production.
And how did it evolve from something more, like you were saying, horror centric to something that's actually kind of sweet?
Well, I think it was the want to make something that was definitely always going to be in like a heightened world, but that was almost, this could almost happen. So there was a lot of that, and a lot of, at the same time as talent shows. And I've got nothing against talent shows, by the way. I was saying to someone earlier, I just know that I could never win one, so I probably put that in. But at the same time, as the rise of social media, which is, it's a great platform for us all to stay in touch and promote ourselves, and that became a big character in the film as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that you don't have anything against the talent shows, but you seem to have a lot of fun poking fun at the shows and their fans in the movie.
I don't know. I don't think we've intentionally poked fun as such. I mean, from Paul's point of view as a character who is an underdog, who is stood on constantly, he's a huge fan of this talent judge Jack Tapp, who's played by Kevin Bishop. And Tom Meaton, who plays Paul Dude, we kind of talked about that quite a bit, of how does he react when, at this point his dreams are just shattered, So it made it important and validated for it to be a bad experience for our character. I think that's why it's done, in a sense. But the fans that we've got, we had a big crowd scene with a lot of fans and a lot of people who came and did little bits of performance for the film, and they love it. They're all cheering. There's a lot of followers for this thing, and I guess you get that on sort of on such a big show. They're so popular, those things.
Yeah.
So many people love them.
How did you end up finding your Paul Dude, Tom Meaton? How did he come into the picture?
So Tom Meaton, I had been very lucky to have worked with a few times in the past, and he was in another film that I'd made, and I'd worked with him a lot on various other films. And he's just a wonderful character actor, and he's very chameleon-esque. He's a stand-up comic, and he can play a very sort of serious role like he did in The Ghoul, as well as kind of crazy, larger-than-life costume-wearing characters. And he was my first choice, and everyone got on board with that. And I think he's got one of those really photogenic faces on and off camera. He's a very lovable guy in real life, and on screen, and at the same time, there's a danger to some of his expressions and things, which I think that's what we needed for Paul.
Yeah, even some sort of an unintentional uh danger, as we end up seeing later on in the the movie. Um, and one of the things that really that stood out to me, that I thought was great, was Paul's relationship with his mom. And June Watson was just a real highlight, um, to me in the film. She was just annoying and endearing at the same time, but then she just won you over because you couldn't help but want some orange marmalade. Um,
Yeah.
but but it made me ask the question: is talent and stardom something that you're born with or nurtured with? And that seemed like something you explored in the movie.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Can you be good at anything until you sort of practiced it or learned it? And June Watson was incredible on set, and in our discussions before and then after the shoot, and she really has been around and been in so many wonderful shows, films, and in theatre more so, I think, in recent years. So having her, because Julie Dude was always going to be one of the hardest characters to cast, and her and Paul, they're a team. They say that in the film they are a team and they live together, and Paul cares for her inadvertently. He's her carer, her stay-at-home carer, and she's in her autumn years, let's say, and perhaps not so well. And I think finding that relationship was really key. I was really keen. That was really a big thing for me. I think
Mhm.
getting that right.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you don't know which way it's gonna go, if it's going to be something that continues to bother him, or if he falls in and just really goes with it. And it turned out to be very sweet, which surprised me because I was expecting a very different film, and it turned out to be just a very sweethearted movie, about just, again, nurture and support. Um, but you open the film with a very interesting quote, from Margaret Atwood.
Mm.
If we're all on trial for our thoughts, we would be hanged. Um, why did you choose that particular quote to open the film?
I will be honest and say I didn't choose that. Somebody
Ah,
else put that in, and I wondered what. But I think the reason it's there really is that if people, for me, as I understand it, if people were to really act upon what they thought, in my experience, I got bullied really badly at school, and I was scared to go out and stuff, and I suppose in my mind, you know, I would have loved to have had a fight with them, or gotten rid of them or whatever. And I guess it means if you acted upon what was in your thoughts in the way that Paul does, then you would meet the justice system in some way. The police would come after you, which is what happens to him.
yeah, inadvertently. I mean,
Mm,
it,
yeah.
it was so. I wish you the very best of luck on this premiere. This I don't know, what is it? Wednesday? Yes, this coming Wednesday, March 17th.
Mm.
And yeah, the best of luck, sir. Thank you so much for talking to us. And ladies and gentlemen, Paul Dude's Deadly Lunch Break, director Nick Gillespie, and his movie premieres Wednesday, March 17th at 2 p.m. PST at South by Southwest. So
Thank you, Norm.
congratulations on that and best of luck.
Thank you, Norm. That's really kind of you. Cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.